Now, coming up here to our right, the building that draws everyone's attention, total diva of this area, 150 North Riverside by Getch Partners, architecture firm headquartered here. Building itself, a pretty good example of form follows function. The site helps to dictate the shape and design of the building. Here, a very slender piece of land to work with. You're wedged in between the river and train tracks. Had a conventional office building been designed where the columns come straight down. On this side, those columns would slam along the river's edge. On the other side, into the train tracks. Cool view. This is called a core-supported building. The main central concrete core takes on the weight and load of the tower. Those diagonal beams transfer that load. Example, hold my arm off of my body, push down on my hand, it's going to fall right to my thigh. It is a bar from my top of my waist, and push down, same as exactly those diagonals. Have time while you're here, kind of walk through this space. Acre-and-a-half landscape public plaza, some walking space, take you to in front of the train stations. Gonna have some conference and meeting rooms for office tenants, and a restaurant open to anyone. But again, more when your turn is ready. As we clear Randolph, to our left coming up, 5.5, 6 years ago, is a 5-story building in the mid-1950s. Thankfully, it's been torn down. This way now rises a 55-story tall building, 110 North Wacker by Getch Partners. Same firm did the deep with a very cool base. Building here to our left, also a very dynamic base. So this one was finished in 2020. Last I have read, between like 90 and 95% leased up. Right now, largest tenant is Bank of America. They took more than 500,000 square feet of space. Here to our left is Bank of America Tower. And here's a picture of the building that stood on this site that I took before it got torn down. I don't miss it, and neither do you, because it was ugly. So, as we clear Washington and into this Art Deco canyon, to our left coming up, the Civic Opera Building by Graham Anderson, Probst and White. Limestone cladding and setbacks as the building rises. You notice it kind of reminds you of a giant chair or a throne. Seat portion of the theater and stage. The wings of the building are the armrests, the tower your backrest. So the Knoxville building, just here in our lifetime. One wall to our left, that more than 20 years ago, some consideration about perhaps some windows on the wall, watching the plaza across the way. Nothing materialized. When built, to use river water to hydraulically raise and lower the stage inside. You're gonna have some carvings here and more carvings above of comedy and tragedy. What's tragic, that $20 million building opened up November 4th, 1929. A few days after the stock market crash, leading to the Great Depression, the opera went bankrupt soon after. It's now home to the Lyric Opera, and very successful. It was built and commissioned by utilities magnate Samuel Insull. What's back here to our right. So around here you can see below the next set of buildings, that's the basement, the train tracks. All the buildings to our right along the river's edge are built on top of air rights. And that means the developers bought the air above the train tracks from the railroad companies that build and develop buildings above that space. Very common in big cities. Huge project right now being built in Manhattan called Hudson Yards on air rights. If you're in Manhattan going down Park Avenue, all the buildings are on the side on air rights. Right now in downtown Boston, we have the South Station building, office building on Skidmore. Short 3-story building to our right now houses a health club and corner bakery. Initially, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And back then, pre-computer, given exchange, had a little trading floor.
Railway Union Station नहीं है Union Station जो हमें
instead of using interiors
main station नहीं railway
outside of the majority of the supporting X-racing. Just like the John Hancock Center and North Michigan Avenue. John Hancock is vertical, that one's horizontal. Building to our right in the background, again by Getch Partners. Now we'll discuss us, the building to our left, that small van out. On the return trip, the distance view to the stadium. As we clear Jackson to our right, the fourth and final of the Gateway buildings, 1983 by Jones. At that time, worked for Skidmore. Again, here's a good example of architectural contextualism. The building fits into the site and surrounding. A graceful curve in the facade, a slight bit of the river in front of us. Green glass in the building, on the water of the river. The company seems to have right cut off at one time able to expand the river. This location here in the Chicago Metropolitan Elevated Railway, taken out back in 1960. And I know at least a third of you all at one point in your life the last 14, 15 years have possibly seen The Dark Knight, the Batman movie filmed in Chicago. Opening scene, Joker and his gang are going to rob Gotham National Bank. They bust out a window in an office building good to our right. Use a zip line over the rooftop of Gotham National Bank and they bust them with the school bus. That's next, but in reality, the former main post office for the city of Chicago. Built in phases. Was the world's busiest and biggest post office. Chicago being the biggest with the mail order and catalog capital of the world. It feels like Sears, Marshall Field, Montgomery Ward. We're talking roughly 2.7 million square feet of space, with about 62 acres on the one roof, the perfect spot on top of train tracks. You even load freight cars with a whale. The building itself, decommissioned back in 1996, is set empty for more than 2 decades. Purchased back in 2016, undergone a roughly $800 million rehab. The last I have read was like 90 and 95% leased up. It's now office space. The buildings also now LEED certified. New technology. If you aren't a fan of Art Deco architecture, ever have time, especially on weekdays, the building's main lobby is open to the public and it's very, very nice. If you're around Monday, check it out. Congress Parkway becomes Interstate 290 on the other side. It can be kind of noisy with all the cars and the traffic even on Saturday, so we'll put it in one moment. I should be quiet just because. So on top of the 3-acre green roof, only for the tenants, there's a basketball court, walking path, half-mile jogging path. I'm not yet sure, but the small building to our right, again, a wait and see, is owned by the same people.